What is up, guys? So I bought this here 2011 Polaris Sportsman 550 EFI for 600 bucks. Now, believe it or not, all I did was put jumper cables to it and it fired right up. I know for sure this thing needs a bath, bad. Needs racks. Mice got a hold of the air filter. I swapped out the air filter. Surprisingly, with however long this thing sat for, which is probably a long time, it actually starts and runs as it is, and the battery took a charge. I'm gonna take this thing for a spin. I did already notice that this switch is bad. I already have one. I'm gonna put some new grips on this thing. 2,976 miles, 302 hours. So let's go whip it and see, make sure this thing rides good. Speedometer works. This was a hell of a deal for 600 bucks. I almost passed on it too. Nice and smooth. It's smoother than the older 500s, the Sportsman 500s. It is a bit more powerful. Honestly, feels a lot more responsive. But it is nothing compared to an 850. Although it feels huge compared to the 850. Guess we should see if four-wheel drive works. All right, I've never tried to do this direction. So is that hill descent? I don't know. We ain't gonna mess with it. Just four-wheel drive. Got almost a full tank of gas. Oh yeah, four-wheel drive works good. Let's go wash this and get a parts list. I mean, this may be one of the easiest flips I've had in forever. All right, this thing didn't clean up too bad. It looks like we're gonna need one front headlight. I happen to have this other side. Get that duct tape off of there. It looks worse the more it's drying. I think it'll clean up. I just pressure washed it to get it nice and clean. Gonna go through and check out what we need. I thought, man, I'd probably bend this back. Well, turns out, and you can't see it, the metal rod that's in here is broken. So that's gonna have to be replaced. I wanna go through and see if we need any bearings or bushings on this thing. So I can go ahead and get that stuff ordered. Get this rear rack off of here. See what all's damaged. The front one actually looks fine, but this back one is trash. It's two-piece. Honestly, if I had a welder, could weld that back together, but I don't. And plastic isn't broken or anything, it's just all misaligned at this point. God, I'm sick of cleaning up dirt dauber nests. So it looks like that's it. I'm gonna see how much of this I could source locally, see if we can keep some costs down. I found a guy out of Houston who wants 20 bucks per rack. I'm waiting on some photos of it, but it's about a 5-hour trip to Houston for me. And I got the rack right there. We're gonna see if letting the ATV sit on top of it till I find that part, if it'll straighten it back out. That may be a bad idea, but we're gonna try it. Worst case, I gotta replace the rack. All right, so we got our parts in. Got these off of Amazon. These are the correct latches to hold the hood down, and I did not know that this had that. So funny story, I did not know how they latched, and there was just a pin on that 850 I did a few weeks ago. A buddy of mine got it from me, and when he was riding it, the rack fell off and hit him in the face. He said at 60 it didn't feel good, or 40 or 50, whatever it was. But I managed to score these racks out of Houston, front and rear. That's the front, here's the rear. Got a couple holes drilled in it, not a big deal. 70 bucks for the pair with the rear rack support, because if you remember, the rear rack support was broken. Hopefully we can get these plastics sitting back upright. New air filter, already changed the oil, put some new grips on it. I happen to have grips. And should be good to go. Oh, I did get a set of wheels for free. They're better tires than what I had on there. They're not fantastic, but These quads, I generally sell them a lot cheaper, and I hang on to the Rangers and try to get more money out of the Rangers. The quads, they sell, but not like those do. And this being a 550, I really don't know the market. I really don't want to put new tires on it. And we got headlights, ready to go in. New headlight bulbs that I already had for something I bought, and I bought the wrong size. So I drove over 10 hours to get these racks. And get home till like midnight and spent about $100 on fuel. He had a good deal on them at 70 bucks, but he's also the only one that would respond to me. There were a bunch of people that had them. They either didn't respond or didn't have everything I needed. There was a whole parts bike that I'll probably still end up buying. He wanted 200 bucks, but he did not have the front rack. I really don't mind the drives going and getting long stuff, but then it's gotta be the furthest I've ever drove for parts. I don't know if I'll do that again. Now let's hope this rear rack makes this thing look good again. Makes it straighten up. What'd I do with my bolts? And this plastic right here does not want to cooperate. I'm gonna try heating it up, see if that helps. I spent so much time sitting there bent, probably heating up in that barn. It kind of reshaped it. That side's in. This side does not want to cooperate. Go. Let's see if this will come off. I'm using some regular goof off. I use the gel. Oh yeah, that's gonna be a pain in the ass to get off. Last part. Get these wheels on here. Gotta use Big Betty because I ruined my Milwaukee battery leaving it on that Foreman overnight. So it turns out we're gonna have to run a different lug nut. So I don't have the lug nuts to make it work with that. But this one here might actually work with these longer studs. Running some spacers. On the plus side, we might have needed to use spacers regardless, considering these are 29s. Let's see, I wanna make sure we're gonna clear. Oh yeah, that'll clear. And it's gonna give it a mean stance with it. So I actually like the stance of it with these on there. Gives it just enough to look good. Now these tires ain't fantastic. They really ain't even all that great, but they're better than what I had on there. And with it being Thanksgiving this week, if I order new tires, I won't have those for like 2 weeks. So we're gonna get this thing washed up, get it nice and shined, see how it'll look. Has that plastic encouragement tool, since nothing wanted to line up very well. So there it is, it's all done. It is not perfect. It definitely has its flaws. But I mean, for 600 bucks, looks pretty good. Still got scratches and stuff. I mean, it was used as a farm unit. And I hate that. Every time I watch these things, dirt ends up coming out of the rack somehow. But it's running good. Actually rides pretty decent with these 29s on it. It's not a bad unit. I think I'll probably get about 2,500 out of this one. That's my goal, is to pull 25 out of it. It's pretty good profit on there. Pretty quick turnover rate. Some of these quads that aren't as nice, you know, I can't necessarily polish up to be immaculate. I prefer to sell them cheaper, sell them quicker. It just makes more sense in my opinion. Bet you up north this thing probably bring 4 grand. I see what some of the prices y'all talk about these things bring up there, and it's just wild to think you get that much more for it there. Thanks for watching. Be sure to tune in, and next one up will be the Ranger.